It's 6 o'clock. I'd like to call the meeting to order. If I could have roll, please, Roger.
Upperly.
Here.
Barton.
Here.
Betteridge.
Here.
Handback.
Here.
Jones.
Here.
Spar.
Here.
Warren.
Here.
We have quorum.
Okay, we got 2 sets of minutes to approve. Should we start with the September minutes? Go for approval there if there's no amendments.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the minutes of September 26 be approved as presented.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Now we can look at October's minutes. There's no amendments. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for October.
Second.
It's easier to approve them when you have them, right? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, before we start tonight, council's going to read a short statement.
Thank you. Public hearings are being held tonight pursuant to published notice. Any person wishing to address the zoning board will be sworn in by our court reporter who will give their testimony under oath or affirmation. At the conclusion of the public hearing, the zoning board of appeals will make its determination. 4 yes votes are required to obtain approval. For a variation, the zoning board's task is to determine whether an applicant meets certain legal requirements. Variation procedure is not intended to evaluate whether a proposed variance is a good idea. Zoning Board of Appeals cannot grant a variance unless it finds the evidence presented before it proves that because of the particular physical surrounding, shape, or topographical condition of the specific property involved, a particular hardship to the owner would result, as distinguished from a mere inconvenience, if the strict letter of the regulations were to be carried out. The conditions upon which the variation is based are unique to the property for which the variance is sought and are not applicable generally to other property within the same zoning classification. The proposed variance is not based exclusively upon a desire for financial gain. The alleged difficulty or hardship is caused by the zoning code and has not been created by any person presently having an interest in the property. Granting the variance will not be detrimental to the public welfare or injurious to other property or improvements in the neighborhood, and that the proposed variation will not impair an adequate supply of light or air to adjacent properties, increase congestion of public streets, increase danger of fire, endanger public safety, or substantially diminish or impair property values within the neighborhood. Unless the Zoning Board of Appeals finds that all of these criteria are met, the zoning board cannot by law grant the applicant a variance. Thank you.
Okay, our first case tonight is 1622. We're going to continue that till next month when he can get all his paperwork finished up. So if we could have a motion just for a continuance.
I so move.
Second.
And to clarify, the continuance would be to our next regularly scheduled meeting because we may not have a December meeting depending on other filings.
Okay.
Spar.
Yes.
Warren.
Yes.
Opperly.
Yes.
Barton.
Yes.
Betteridge.
Yes.
Handback.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Okay, our case tonight is 16-23. Jeanette Davison is requesting a variance for a front porch addition at 419 East Delwood Street, zoned R1. The required front setback is 25 foot. The proposed porch will be 18 foot 6 from the front property line, resulting in a variance of 6 foot 6. Garrett, you want to step? Arlene will swear you in. You can step to the podium. Garrett, could you state your name and then address for Arlene then?
Yes, Gareth Davidson, and the address is 419 East Delwood. My My mother just recently purchased the property. She's getting ready to retire and wanted a ranch house for her retirement. The current front porch is 4 foot by 4 foot, like that. And then there's a sidewalk that comes over to it. Basically, we wanted to just extend the porch even, just to where this front sidewalk comes in, just extend it out to here, and then put a roof on it to cut down on the snow and ice building up on the porch. The reason to build the porch out, even with the sidewalk, would be down the road if she needs a wheelchair ramp or access in, then the ramp can just drop straight onto that sidewalk, so you'd come straight up the walk onto the porch and then into the house. So that's,
You're just gonna tie it in with just a little gable end, just like it is now?
yeah, it'll just be a little gable roof coming out, a little gable on it, column on each side. I'm not sure if Roger has a,
Yeah, I just gotta get it going the right direction. Right here.
Is there any plans to enclose it down the road?
no,
Okay.
no, it'd be,
Open?
it's only, I think, right now it'd be 2 steps tall, so you wouldn't even need a rail on it, So the idea would be, right now the porch is about that wide. You just widen it in between the 2 windows with a column on each end, and then the gable end, and then the stepping down onto the existing concrete walk.
In keeping with the other neighbors, I noticed most of them are only 4 foot and not 8 foot as you requested.
Right.
You can put a wheelchair ramp on a 4 foot section.
Yeah.
Thus, you would not have to go and seek as deep a variance as you're asking for.
To do that, though, you'd have to bring the ramp up and then make a turn of some kind into the house. Because right now, the front of the porch is, it's concrete off the front door, and then it steps down and the sidewalk comes up to here, so it comes, the walk right now comes up to here, and then there's a step from here up onto the existing concrete porch.
One of the problems is when we give a variance, it stays with the property forever.
Right,
If you did not put a wheelchair ramp in,
right,
it would still be an 8 foot variance
right,
that would stay with the property forever.
sure,
I'd rather see you go with a 4 foot
uh-huh,
and stay there. If you need a ramp or something, then come back to the zoning commission, zoning board, and seek the variance at that time.
at that point, then
I guess what you'd have to do is you'd have to fill that little step up, make that a deck, or, with either concrete, and go, take the
Right.
ramp right to the 8 inches down from the front door.
right, you'd have
Yeah.
to build that out, and then you'd lose the cover that the porch
Yeah.
would have.
Well,
since the-
yeah, you'd probably still have an overhang. I mean, I don't mind a front porch like this and covering up that front door area on those. I mean, they are tough. But if you're willing to go, if we want to make this thing a little smaller to help
I
you
wanna
get it,
keep-
I'm all,
I want to keep it in line with the rest of the neighborhood,
Yeah,
and they're a 4 foot, not 8 foot.
okay.
okay.
What about widening it?
10 foot, no problem.
Okay. So it's more just the 8 foot versus a
Right.
4
Just
foot.
coming out, encroaching, I think, in the front
Yeah.
yard.
And that is an option too then, to just come out even with the, so you're saying just bring it up
4 foot,
4 foot over the existing
correct.
the existing porch, and then bring the roof out even with the front of that.
And take it 10 foot in the width.
Right. Yeah, so widen it, but then just keep it, don't bring it out any further than it
Correct.
already is. And then,
You can still have an overhang on that,
right,
because it's just going to your front gable. That's
right,
the-
okay. So you could do just a, 16-inch,
Yeah. you can
whatever
just do it your
overhang
normal
on that.
face, Yeah.
I think that would be good too. Or, I think we could live with that.
Yeah, I like it, I just want to make sure you can, what everybody else, if they're all for that, I'm good with the 4. Kevin, do you have?
No, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
I don't have any problem.
Okay.
Is
All
there
right.
even a variance that's necessary then? I mean, because he's got,
If we go 4 foot, what are we now?
If you're going
We're
4
8.
foot, you're taking 4 foot off it, so you'd still need a variance for 2 foot 6 inches.
Yeah.
for 2 foot 6 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anybody in the audience that wishes to comment to this case tonight? If you want it, you'll have to be sworn in and just step up, just so we can hear it and record it.
We have to create a record of the proceeding in case there's ever a need to review it, so our microphones pick up the sound and nowhere else does.
Gary, just,
Raise your right hand, please. You solemnly swear to tell me the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Thank you.
and then just state your name and address.
My name is Alan Hostetler. I live at 414 East Elwood. So my question is just what the rule is. It's got to be, the house itself has to be 25 feet from the edge of the street, or what is
It's,
Property line.
property line?
Property
yeah,
line.
And so he's moving, if he comes out
2 foot.
6
if-
inches.
Yeah, if it was a 4 foot,
in just a
Fourth.
concrete pad, is that considered a variance too, or you need, it's because he's putting the roof on it,
It's the roof.
covering.
Yeah.
covering on it?
Yeah, that's the reason for the variance is the roof, not the concrete
Not the
itself.
concrete
Yeah.
itself? Okay. My question is what the actual rule is.
Okay. Well, thank you. If nobody has any more questions,
Any other
Gareth,
questions?
do I hear a motion? With the 2 foot 6 inch?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we grant case number 16-23 under 1010-2C with a 2 foot 6 inch setback.
I'll second.
And just to clarify, that's a setback variance, 2 foot 6 inch setback would technically allow for 22 feet 6 inches of extension off the front of the house. I know what you were saying, I just want to make sure we're clear for a record that you'd be approving a 2 foot 6 inch setback variance.
Okay.
Ready for a roll?
Yes, please.
Handback?
Yes. Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Spar,
Yes.
Warham?
Yes.
Opperly?
Yes.
Barton?
Yes.
Betteridge?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Yeah, variance, you get a building permit tomorrow and start on it in the afternoon.
all right, so come see you tomorrow and get the
Yeah.
permits.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, appreciate it. Glad you moved to Morton. Okay, Roger?
I don't know if we're going to have a meeting. It will be that third Monday of December, but I don't have a case unless this other one that was continued would happen to get their ducks in a row. So
Let's just have him take
yeah,
another
that would be
month.
just that one. So I'll be sending that out fairly shortly because we're going to meet a week earlier. So that's all I have.
Okay. Randy, would you like to have a little presentation?
I'm not sure if all of you are aware that this is the last meeting for Dave Betteridge, serving on the Zoning Board of Appeals. Dave has elected to step down from the board, but before he slipped away, we wanted to publicly thank him for his service, and as a token of our appreciation, we have a plaque for him that reads, "In recognition of 12 years of dedicated service to the Zoning Board of Appeals, the Village of Morton presents this award to Dave Betteridge with great appreciation." And for those of us that have worked with Dave or alongside him, or those of you that have been on the board know that Dave always did his homework. He came prepared for the meetings, and you could always tell by the questions and comments and discussion that he participated in and contributed to. So for your years of service and for your participation, Dave, on behalf of the mayor and the village board and the zoning board of appeals, we want to thank you for your service.
Thank you, Randy, and I appreciate to my fellow board members the services that you have rendered to me over these past years, and I really appreciate the courtesies and everything else that you have given. And the attorney, he's kept us straight. And Randy, we couldn't have done it without you, none of us. So I do appreciate the work, and thank you very, very much, Randy. Thank you.
Have a nice retirement.
I am.
You won't have to come to the battlefield once a month.
I'll watch it on TV.
Yeah. With that, do I hear a motion for adjournment?
I so moved.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the board be adjourned for this evening.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.
Aye.